Yeah, commenting on the kitchen scene, I think that even though there is a level of critique in that scene where she's subverting the female role in the kitchen by poisoning the men, I think that she's participating in that criticism and feeding into it almost by representing herself as being this glamorous figure in the kitchen. And although she transforms the kitchen into a site of power for the feminine, where the feminine is able to achieve dominance over the masculine by using the traditional domestic site as a locale for violence, in the end, nothing really changes from the beginning of the kitchen diner sequence to the end, other than the men are dead, which seems extraneous to the dancing in the kitchen itself. So sure, Lady Gaga reappropriates the kitchen, perhaps for a queer identity, but I'm not sure whether or not she actually changes the way that that stereotype functions, because she's still operating within the kitchen. Perhaps if she had transcended the kitchen in some way, there wouldn't be such a performance contradiction there, I think.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to change up the format, just because I can. But does anyone from the audience want to chime in? No?
I'd like to chime in.
Okay. Stand up, say your name, what school. Yeah, put me on the spot.
My name is Cam. I don't go to school here.
Oh.
So, when the three of you were talking, when we started moving towards the kitchen, I actually had a totally different reading, and maybe I'm way off. But to me, the kitchen of a diner, I think it was actually a very male space, because usually it's a male chef in the back of restaurants and diners. It's not. I think there's sort of a slippage. We're thinking of like the kitchen in a house and sort of somehow transposing that on a restaurant. So I'm wondering how that might change anyone's reading if you think about a woman actually usurping what is actually typically a male, and from all accounts that I've ever heard, a very kind of chauvinist space. You know, the male chef is kind of hanging out, drinking all day. That's sort of the, just curious.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I guess, did you want to respond to that really quickly, and then we'll move to the next question?
Sure. No, I was just thinking about the kitchen in a slightly different way than you were, but I actually found it interesting to look at what she's doing in the kitchen, and she's making a sandwich in this really candy way. Like, it's like, let's make a sandwich, right? And she's got men in makeup, so you've got a lot of, I mean, it's gay boys like dancing with her, right? So the way I actually wrote in my notes for this, I was like, let's make a camp sandwich. And then we feed the camp sandwich to the people in the diner, and they all die. And in my paper and stuff that I've worked on before, I actually suggest that perhaps what she's really doing, who knows what she's doing, but what she might be doing is sort of parenthetically inserting queer culture into the mainstream, and sort of subversive is like a overused word, but in sort of a way that like makes it palatable, but also makes it sort of, you don't even know that you're like into it, but you're listening to it. And so I think perhaps like that scene is an allegory for exactly that action, which is sort of feeding it to the mainstream, and the mainstream sort of dies. And America's reborn as like this crazy dance party. So I think, yeah, that would be.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this is a good question that I had as soon as I saw the video. So do you think the music is secondary for Gaga here or in general when she creates her videos, or is it related to the visual content of the film? Because when some of my friends are here and they know I was obsessed with this song before this video came out, and I had a countdown going to when it was coming out, and then I was disappointed every time it got postponed, but that's another story. But I was definitely expecting more dance, and I was definitely expecting a shot of Grand Central Station. I don't know about you, but maybe this time we'll start with Jason on, do you think her music is ever, or like not ever, but in this instance and otherwise related to the content of her lyrics, which aren't actually that meaningful if you look at them kind of removed?
Clarify, you mean the music itself?
Sorry, the lyrics of her songs. Let's not
okay.
go to too much music theory.
Well, I think that in this case, the lyrics really have nothing on an external level to do with what's going on in the video. Like, she's singing about being in a club, and I mean, it's ironic because a lot of the things she sings about do have nothing to do with what's in the video and in fact contradict what's being visually represented. I think though that this mismatch between like lyric and image is almost distracting, though I think it does add another layer of meaning. So perhaps it is intentional that the lyrics have nothing to do with this almost bizarre pastiche of like different film genres, but maybe it's also that Lady Gaga was like, I want to do a movie that has like comics and like the detective and film noir genres in it, and I'll mix that with my lyrics, and it'll be awesome, which it kind of is, but.
I read a blog interpretation of this that suggested that the telephone lyrics are about stalking, which I don't know if I totally believe, but I can kind of see it. Like Lady Gaga's and Beyonce are singing about this person who doesn't stop calling them, and they keep like saying that they don't want to talk to them, and the person keeps calling, which is definitely can be a form of stalking. So if you think about it that way, they're yelling, or they're arguing with this person who's stalking them, while they're planning on plotting to kill Beyonce's like asshole ex-boyfriend. I think there could be some links there. I think outside of this video though, like I think Paparazzi is pretty clear. Similarities in the song and the video and Bad Romance also.
I actually like the stalker idea, but I was thinking when watching this, what would happen? This is going to be a little nerdy, but what would happen if we replaced the word telephoning to telephone with interpolating? And so going, going back to sort of my off-the-cuff gender reading, I think that it would be interesting to think about constantly being, considering the fascination with her body and with her gender, particularly with the controversy around her having a penis or not. I've actually thought about that being perhaps a lot to do with the fact that as an artist, as a producer of music, she's actually very, much more agentive than most women in her particular part of music production as a pop star. So think of Britney Spears, she's not really writing her songs or like working the mixing board, she's just kind of showing up and singing, which is great. But Gaga's writing the music, she's a classically trained composer, pianist, singer, she can mix her own stuff, she's very much involved with all aspects of production. And so I would sort of argue that perhaps the anxiety about her gender, about her being so agentive, and maybe she's a man because she sort of acts this way, and it's sort of an unconscious thing. But I think the constant like stop calling me, stop reading me, stop making me be what you want me to be, or being so interested in what I am, would be a way of interpreting telephoning in this context. I mean, I think, but I actually didn't like the song initially, and then I liked it better with the video, which is funny. But that's a little bit rambly. But yeah, I think that there's something to be said for telephoning being like a sense of bothering or sort of constantly.
Yeah, it could have to do with like power relations, like trying to take back power from this person who's bothering you or like violating your space.
Yeah.
And there's definitely that theme in the video.
Does anyone want to respond? I saw you.
Hi, my name's Seth, and I was wondering, I actually have a point/question that kind of ties together all the points.
Okay, we can move to audience questions.
I was thinking that to what extent can we sort of interpret Lady Gaga and this video as a mirror for society?